Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu and the Insider crew.
Hello, everyone. It's episode 90. Manny and I are sitting here in the office. We're recording this just before the holidays, Thanksgiving holiday, and by the time you hear this, it will be after the Thanksgiving holiday. And hopefully, you guys had a great few days. I know I look forward to Thanksgiving quite a bit, but unfortunately, I'm not even going to be around with my family this year. But at the table, I have Manny and myself. It's quite intimate. We have Robert at the controls, and we've got a lot to talk about. Everything from Black Friday, Cyber Monday, 963, Monti, crazy Monti car that just came out. Talk about Porsche Production changes and updates, and depreciation of cars, and who's the number one lead in depreciation. So we'll get to all that. But Manny, some Black Friday trivia. Any idea the origin of that?
Yes, because I was in retail for like a decade. And Black Friday was when all the accounting books went from the red into the black. That's why it got its name. It's when
I am impressed that you know that. However, you're wrong. Well, you're not totally wrong. So the term Black Friday actually came about initially in 1869 when there was a crash of the gold market on a Friday, September of 1869. And it was sort of a negative term for a while. And in the 1950s, the city of Philadelphia also experienced chaos after Thanksgiving, and the term Black Friday came about again. But the time when you were in retail, and I think this is why you know it as the way you described, is in 1985, Black Friday, the retailers reinvented the term, and as you said, where they were operating in the red up until that point, and at the beginning of the holidays, that's when they were getting into the profit area, term Black Friday. So
yeah. I worked for Macy's for a long time, and Black Friday wasn't anywhere near as busy as when we would have what was called our one-day sales, which was usually once a month maybe. Mm-hmm. And of course, we'd always get the phone call, how long is your one-day sale?
I think Macy's came up with that because they're famous for their one-day sale.
Yeah, and then they got greedy and they started having a one-day sale like every week, and, and they kind of lost its impact. But that one-day sale, we would do at least our store would do over $1 million, which was a lot back then. Of course, this is before online sales and whatnot. So people would literally wait in line outside the store for the doors to open because they would always have some kind of loss leader that everyone wanted. But Black Friday was not as busy as you would think. But people would always say, well, I'm going to come back December 24th. And that's when things really go on sale. Mm-hmm. And I would try to explain to them that there's nothing left December 24th because they're not restocking. It's like 9 o'clock at a fried chicken place. They're not making more fried chicken. Right. They don't want to get stuck with fried chicken. The same thing with stores because in January, it's traditionally inventory month because it's a slow month. So everyone got rid of everything they could by Christmas Eve. So lesson learned, don't wait until Christmas Eve to try to find a good deal.
So in the late 90s, 2000s, were you like me where I would look at the paper or the leaflets that would come through the mail for Black Friday sales, and I would go through and kind of circle all the amazing deals? And I think back then a lot of the amazing deals were computers and TVs, and I think the earliest I've ever lined up at a Black Friday sale was going to Best Buy at like 2 a.m, standing in line outside.
I think after 10 years of retail, I was so traumatized that I never...
You never did that?
No, my wife did it with our daughter and her cousin. I think they did it a few times, but no.
I think it's I don't know. I haven't done it in a while, but I think it's less dangerous now because when you didn't really have that online option. I mean, I remember the lines wrapping around the Best Buy, and when the doors open, it was like a flood of people, and I think people even got injured and stuff. And then when you went in, you just started grabbing stuff that you didn't even need, and then you kind of figured out what you were actually going to buy, half an hour later. Craziness.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of stores now I see are actually not opening like on holidays. Remember, they used to open on Thanksgiving the whole day.
Absolutely.
And there was enough uproar where they decided, not everyone, some still open up, but a lot of them say they're staying closed.
Good for them, because it was kind of like the ugly side of society. Like, it started as, oh, we're going to open on Friday, and it got earlier and earlier. And next thing you know, you were eating Thanksgiving on Thursday and, maybe wrapping up at 9 p.m. And then you go out and wait in the middle of the...
So my daughter's coffee shop, she sent an email saying, hey, I just want to take a poll. If we open on Thanksgiving morning, would anybody be interested in working? Totally optional. Just taking a survey. I think she said everyone replied yes. Essentially, they wanted to get away from the family.
Okay. That's funny.
They were all like, yes, I'll work. So she's not working. I think she's doing a 5K, but
good for her.
Their staff it's fully staffed for the morning at the coffee shop. So.
Good. So I heard you did some fun stuff with the Chesapeake region, a region social.
Yeah, Steve and Marcia Buss, who are just incredible social shares. Steve's going to be president next year of the region. They have something planned at least once a month, and this time we went back to Guinness Brewery, which is right outside of Baltimore City. I think it is technically in Baltimore
and down
City.
the street from BWI Airport.
Yeah, it's not too pretty easily accessible. I don't think they. Did he still brew?
No, they don't. They closed the brewing side.
Yeah, I think the brewing side got closed, but the restaurant and everything's still there. So we met on Saturday around 11 o'clock. There was about maybe 40-some cars. A lot of us were at Cars and Coffee in the morning at Hunt Valley Cars and Coffee, so we just shot down the road 30 minutes away down to here. And we filled up their whole one section of their dining room with Porsche people.
And is the food good there? I've never been there before. What kind of food is it? Is it like pub food?
Yeah, I wouldn't write home about the food. What you expect, I guess, at a bar.
Yeah.
It's really strange in the sense that you order it's a cashless restaurant, which is fine for you. You never carry cash.
I never carry cash.
And you order everything through your phone, a website.
Okay.
So there's no waiter that comes around until the food's delivered. Then the waitress or waiter comes around to deliver it.
Okay, yeah.
I would like the old traditional way where a waiter just comes up and
get your order.
I think and they're a little bit too techy or maybe cheap doing that. The food's all right. It's nothing I'd criticize, but nothing I write home. It would be like a 5 out of 10.
Okay. So I didn't do much car stuff, except for I do have a question for the audience that's listening. Let me be a proud dad for the moment. So my daughter, who graduates this December, a semester early from college, she has already accepted her first big girl job, and part of the position is she's actually going to have a little bit of a commute. I don't know if we talked about this before, but she's got 3 days in the office that she's going to commute from Columbia to McLean, which is about 50 minutes without traffic, and probably an hour to an hour 15.
Say, that's all traffic
with traffic
related.
And right now we left her Acura MDX to Jason in Utah, and she's putzing around in Jason's 400-some thousand mile Corolla. So of course we are looking for a new car for her, or maybe like a CPO car. So here's our criteria, if you can help me out. So Justine's looking for something that's automatic. She loves a manual, but realizing that she's going to be sitting in traffic for 3 days a week, she's going to opt for an automatic. She wants something that is all-wheel drive in case she runs into bad weather. She has to have room in the back for an 82-pound lab pit. So I think it's going to be sort of a compact SUV kind of a thing. She is sort of traumatized by having to put premium in the MDX. So she's adamant about this car has to have regular or be able to accept regular gas. And I think the budget, she's not happy with it, but I think the budget is probably about $30K. So with those requirements, what would you recommend? New and or CPO? Because I want something that I don't have to worry about.
Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive.
You missed all-wheel drive though. She needs
she doesn't need all-wheel drive.
I guess she doesn't. She doesn't.
She needs winter tires.
Winter tires.
If I could drive to Columbia 45 minutes in my Z3, which has absolutely no weight in the rear, on winter tires for the past 10 years, I've driven that as a daily driver.
I actually did suggest that for her, but she is absolutely against it. Don't ask me why. We won't go into it, but she just nope.
That screams her name is a Tesla.
So, anyways, if you guys can help me out, I appreciate it. Speaking of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, Jim Hemmig, our marketing director, put together what we do annually is a holiday gift guide. And Manny, I don't know if you took a look at it, but is there something on there?
Is this being printed somewhere, or is this?
We're gonna email it to all of our members.
But not. I just looked at the layout. I thought it was going to be in Pano or something.
Nope,
the way it was laid out.
Nope. It's just going to be emailed to everyone.
Well, since you told us, I just noticed that 917 the soot scoops. I've never seen that before.
Oh,
see it?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder what race that was from.
So we have everything from hardware to trips to car stuff to lifestyle stuff, toys, and everything in between at all different price points.
Kind of like a Porsche, adult Porsche Toys R Us toy guide. Remember
exactly.
those?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would flip the page and pick my favorite from each
Search all
page.
the stuff that your parents would never get you, but you would hope.
So while you're thinking about it.
Well, I like the, I already know what I saw already, is the that RC car, the 110 scale.
The GT3?
I was going to ask you, does that come assembled, or do I got to paint it and everything?
No, so that is a Tamiya 110 remote control vehicle that you assemble yourself. And I put my name on the list.
I know it's on this thing Robert's going through, and I know I saw it.
Yeah, it's on there. It's the blue GT3 remote control Tamiya, or Tamiya, however you say it. Anyways, it's a model that you build yourself. It's on a TAO2 chassis, and I got my name on the list early on, a couple months ago.
Oh my God! You remote control cars we need allocations for?
Well, I did just in case.
What's the waiting list? A year?
Just in case. Actually, I waited like 3 months to get it. Like I knew it came out, but then by the time it actually landed at my house, it was
so
like
110 scale is pretty big. That's typical.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
a
what
typical
I'm used to seeing your
remote control
RC car.
Yep.
So you got to paint the body.
You have to paint the body. You have to assemble everything. It's a great kit.
Does anyone sell pre-painted bodies online?
Yes, and there it is.
There
right
it is,
there.
yeah.
For $125.
That seemed like a heck of a deal.
Yeah, it is. And
does that include like wheels and the motor and everything?
It includes everything that you see there. It just doesn't include the radio controls. So everything that you can build and have it on display, but then if you want it to run, then you have to get the electronics.
So now I just got to find someone who sells the bodies painted.
Why? It's pretty easy. I can show you how to do it.
Yeah, it's easy for you.
Yeah,
I
can
have zero
help you with
patience.
So my hopes is, like a ding dong, I bought 2 of them because one I'm going to keep in a box and one I'm going to build. And I was hoping Damon could help me with. I'm going to do a time lapse build of that car sometime in December and then share with people. It's really cool because you build everything from the shocks to the gears. You put together the rims and tires, and yeah, it's awesome for $125.
I want to do like European delivery. The car's all built.
That's already built. So they don't sell that particular car yet, but they do sell 110 scale remote control cars, mostly by like Traxxas and other RC companies, and that's called RTR, ready to run. So you just open it up.
I saw the $839 vacuum in, and I thought, for $839, that thing better vacuum itself. It should be like a little. What's the ones I got called in my house?
That's
remote?
that's the Metrovac SuperVac and Blaster. So that does both. That's vacuuming and blower. Now I don't have the $830 version. I just have the blower.
Now, when you turn the blower, do you got to make sure your bag's empty?
When I turn the blower, mine only has a blower. I don't have the vacuum.
This
is both.
That's what I'm wondering. So do you make sure your bag's empty, or can you?
Because
that would be a pretty ugly sight if you shoot out everything.
No, yeah, of course. I'm sure it's designed so it doesn't do that. But what I'm getting at is the smaller version. That's just the blower version. I use all the time because I can just open the doors to my car and stand on one side with this, 4 horsepower. Oh no, it's actually 8 horsepower total blower, and it just blows all the crap from the floors, the seats, the dash, all out the other side of the car, and it looks like you vacuumed, but you just blew it out the door.
Wait a minute. You're instead of vacuuming, you're just blowing the stuff across the car out the door.
Yep.
We're gonna do an inspection of your car because that does not sound correct.
Absolutely.
No, the stuff is going to because you got seats and you got stuff in between one side of the car and the other.
So what I do is I blow everything like towards the floor, and then I just blow
What
it
do you
out.
think? You're God. You can control the.
Okay.
You act like
we
you're
will
creating a
do
cyclone.
If
yes,
we'll do a video of this, and you're gonna be amazed, just like that. What is it? The water thing that we got back there where it doesn't spot. You didn't believe in that.
Yeah, but that was a whole product. This is your own invention. That the way you do it. Does Metrovac encourage this?
I'm sure there's folks listening that do what I do, and why don't you tell Manny it does in fact work? You just blow all that crap in your car out the other side. It does. You'll see. In fact, we have a blower here. Let's pull your Z3 around because I'm sure it's not clean inside, and I'll just blow the crap out of it.
But see, what I'm asking though is the crap that you think that's going out. Some of it's got to be getting stuck in the seat rails, underneath the seat.
It looks clean. All I can say.
You
I mean,
check underneath the
I
seats?
probably wouldn't do that for a Concours prep, but for a daily driver, it looks absolutely clean. It gets all the leaves and rubble.
Your last eye test was when?
All right, fine. All right, so for me, the item that I chose, and it kind of reinforced my love for these things. So, when we do tours or road trips with a couple of cars, I love having a two-way radio in the car instead of just calling someone with your phone. It's just easier to push to talk and have a two-way radio in the car. And we have some here at PCA, and we used a few of them for Unstock, which was super helpful in coordinating the cars and reaching out to Manny, who was in two buildings across from me. When we were at SEMA, we went to Cobra. That's the brand, Cobra, and they have these two-way radios now that provide range. I think it used to be like a mile, and then when the 5-mile radios came out, I thought that was awesome, and I think that's what PCA has.
But that's also a line of sight.
Yeah, that's also a line of sight.
37
but
mile.
now these Cobra radios have 37 miles, and of course that's line of sight. But still, I mean, if the 5-mile radios are already amazing, can you imagine the reach you have with a 37-mile two-way radio? And you don't have to they say you don't have to register that or anything like that.
Have they improved any on the number one fault of these radios that people mistake?
Or you land on someone else's channel?
No, you hit the button and you got to wait like a millisecond to start speaking, but people hit the button and start speaking immediately. And all you check is you hear half their sentence.
That's user error. You have to train yourself.
So they haven't fixed that part yet.
I don't know. I'd like to get a set from Cobra to try it out because I think that's really cool. And they're not that. How much was that? Was that, Robert?
37, I think.
$37 for 37.
Oh, no, not even close.
Sorry.
37 mile. That's
37 mile, $120. I think that's for a pair, though. I don't think that's for one of them. Anyways, so that was my pick. Also, if you're shopping, if you haven't seen already, together with Porsche Design, we put together an amazing collection of items. They do this every year for us. It's just a handful of items that we.
Who selects this merchandise? Do you do it, or
Porsche Design puts it together, and they just obviously just kind of gets us to sign off on it. They are the clothing and brand experts. I'm not going to try to pretend like I can be a fashion designer. So
really.
So we just let them do it, and it's been out for about a week, and it's going pretty well. Yep. So obviously a lot of Club Blau being used, and here's what I have for you.
Don't we have the stuff here though yet?
No, not yet.
What's Bogdan doing a photo shoot for?
Oh! You mean do we have this stuff here?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bogdan got some stuff.
Okay, so I thought he was doing a photo shoot.
To do a
today.
photo shoot. So we talked about the origins of Club Blau, and you said you would bet your car that you knew how we came to Club Blau, right? You said it was a shade
acid
darker
blue.
than acid blue. And you said you would bet your car on it. Are you still confident that you would bet your car on it? Because I phoned a friend.
What friend did you phone?
I phoned a friend. Are you confident that
Yes.
acid blue,
Yes.
a shade darker? Robert, would you throw up on the screen? Hi, Vu. This is from Boris Appenbrink from Paint to Sample, Guru. Porsche exclusive. I emailed him and I said, which blue was it that we took it a shade darker to create Club Blau? He responded, "Hi, Vu. That was acid blue. I read often that people say voodoo, but that's wrong. Hope you're better. Take well." And so you're correct.
There's some things I remember.
You do have like that steel trap of a mind for like factoids.
I remember they said we're going to make it 3 to 4 shades darker.
Yeah.
But it was acid blue.
Acid blue.
And it turned out that I always tell the story. It was you, me, and Karen Cooper, the incoming president, who all picked the same color without knowing, having a choice. I think we had 3 blues we could pick from, and we all picked acid blue.
So you get to keep your car. You were right, my friend. I'm glad I did not take that bet. All right. Let's see. Oh, let's remind people, if you don't mind, Robert, about signing up for newsletters and such. So if you don't get e-break news Tuesday nights, you don't get Mark Fresh news or performance news, head over to pca.org and get signed up. It's all free, and we'd love to have you on the roster. All right, let's talk about depreciation.
This article you found.
This article that came to me, the number one car to depreciate.
The king of depreciation.
The king of depreciation in what? In after 5 years or no? 5 years?
Yeah, average 5 year.
An average of 5 years. This is the king of depreciation, losing $90,000.
64, almost 65% of its value.
65% of its value, $90,000 of its value in 5 years, and the winner is.
I wasn't surprised.
Huh?
The Maserati.
The Maserati. The Maserati Quattroporte. I've always been impressed by that car. I don't think I've ever wanted to.
Oh, yeah, they're beautiful cars.
They're beautiful, and they sound amazing, but I had no idea.
Panameras are beautiful cars, but they were before everything went topsy-turvy with the pandemic and the pricing.
Yeah.
Panameras that would get hit also.
So why do you think? Do you think it's the maintenance of those cars, or why so much?
I'm sure. I mean, I would think that's number one fear. It's kind of electric cars also are taking a hit.
Yeah.
Taycans are taking a hit.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot with technology, first year issues or first gen issues. Well, Maserati, they don't exactly have the best reputation. Even though they're powered by Ferrari, it's like Fiat almost. You know, people still remember their past, and I really think that's what affects their.
But is it perception, value. Or are they actually like unreliable? So to
well,
me, I worry about, because it's Ferrari powered. I feel like you still have Ferrari maintenance costs,
sure.
but you don't own a Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean that's. I guess in a lot of things, watches are that way, right? With Tudor. It's made by Rolex, but some people say it's not a real Rolex and
right.
whatnot. I would say I probably a factor of things. It's a 4-door, it's not a 2-door, so that it's going to start taking a hit. Because you look at the second one is a 7 Series.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
7 Series and S classes.
And think about 7 Series. How much tech stuff is on a 7 Series?
So much. You just don't want to own that car out of warranty.
Yeah, that's what everyone tells you is that make sure you have a warranty on it.
So we're going down the quick list in case you're not watching on YouTube. So the Maserati Quattroporte loses about 65%. The BMW 7 Series about 62%. Then Maserati Ghibli also about 61%. Back to BMWs. Number 4 is a BMW 5 Series Hybrid at 58.8. Cadillac Escalade at 58.5. Number 6, BMW X5 at 58.2. Man, to have 3 vehicles BMW and then 2 vehicles Maserati at the top of the highest depreciation list.
I wonder how many of these
good.
Are leased through companies.
Yeah.
And kind of like written off.
So let's go to the flip side. If you go to the cars with the lowest depreciation, we should be very proud. Number 1, the least depreciation after 5 years, the Porsche 911 at 9.3%. And number 2, the Porsche 718 Cayman at 17.6%. And then
the Boxster, interestingly, is further down the list.
It is.
It's
number 12.
Yeah. 25%.
25%. I think that's probably because with a movable top, maybe there's some sort of perception, or I don't know.
And I think maybe sales and availability. There's probably more Boxsters than Caymans.
No, that's true. That's true. So, we say this all the time. Don't necessarily buy your Porsche for an investment, but it's kind of cool to see 3 models at the top 20 list.
And for 911s, it hasn't always been this way because 911s usually take a hit too.
Yeah.
Not as bad as like a 4-door car, but if you were willing to buy a 2 or 3 year old 911, you were getting a heck of a deal. Now it isn't so much.
No.
But back, you used to be able to get a 2 or 3 year old 911 nicely equipped for a substantial savings. But that gap over the past 10 years has gotten smaller and smaller, especially when the market started opening up around the world and people had the money to buy these cars, and Porsche wasn't making as many as the worldwide demand.
Yeah, and I guess what this doesn't take into account is some of the special editions, because I'm sure if you bought a 5-year-old GT3, it's worth more today than you probably bought it 5 years ago.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, very cool stuff. Hopefully, you learned a little bit there. But it's not all sunshine and unicorns, because there are models, as you said. The 4 doors can sometimes take a hit, but what we're seeing now is the Taycans, maybe because it's their, sort of entry into the market, but they're seeing. We've seen depreciation as much as 50% for a car that's 3-year-old with 18,000 miles, a Taycan 4S with 30,000 miles come low as $70,000. To me, starts becoming a very attractive proposition to get into a Taycan in the used market.
So it's interesting. Unlike gas-powered cars, ICE cars, it isn't like, well, what kind of engine problems did he have? Did it have IMS? What was? Yeah. It's not them. You don't hear anything about electric motors going up. No. It's all battery and software. So the batteries are the big question mark of buying a used Taycan. Is how much longer do I have on the batteries before I got to replace those? Because now the battery replacement, that's like an engine replacement. That's
right.
Huge.
It's like, what's that game we used to play as a kid? Like hot potato. Like you don't want to be the kid that ends up with the hot potato and having to replace that battery.
And then above and beyond that, I heard somebody compare them to an iPhone, and I thought that was a pretty good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Because iPhone technology changes pretty quickly, and of course the batteries don't hold as much as they used to, and you can feel it, and you're like, yeah, it's time for a new phone. And electric cars, I hope they don't become like that, like an appliance where people just chuck them and move on. Well, and the value of an iPhone just drops so badly.
A lot of my friends and family are considering electric cars, from Teslas to Hyundais to Taycans, and I gotta say, not until recently did those conversations include, should I lease it? And literally last night at dinner, my sister-in-law, who unfortunately got rear-ended and it looks like her car is gonna be totaled, she's considering an electric car, and she's like, you know what, maybe I'll lease it because of what you just said. She's like, I'm not so sure, with the battery and the software. Like it's a car that I'm going to keep forever, and would I be better off just leasing it?
And technology-wise, there's still so many questions. Like Porsche, will they come out with a solid-state battery? Mm-hmm. And what does that do to the value of
the ones that aren't
regular lithium-ion batteries? There's so much. It's the batteries the big to me the determining factor, because it's unlike the. I love everything about electric cars, and I really want to see them succeed.
Yeah.
But we're still in the infancy, and there's still a lot of questions to be answered. But the value, I mean, that's a big pill to swallow, spending $100,000 on a car that may lose.
Well, I think some of the good news is the earlier batteries where it was like a replace all or nothing. Some of the more recent batteries that are coming out, you can actually drop the battery and replace like a bad cell, which I think that's a huge thing, where you're not replacing the whole thing, but just a portion that might
still
be
costs a lot of money.
It still costs a lot of money, but it's not.
You're not picking up a couple D batteries and sticking it in the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what I came across on YouTube that I thought was pretty cool. So we did a video, and we've talked about dry ice cleaning. I think we did a video at At Speed Motors with Bob Miller. You guys were dry icing a 914 or something like that, or maybe I did that video. Anyways,
But we had Project 964 dry ice.
Okay, so it's a pretty cool technology, taking dry ice and blasting it to clean the surface of the vehicle. But have you heard of this? Laser cleaning.
No.
You never heard of this?
Nope.
Check this out. So it's like a handheld laser that you can control the frequency of the laser, where when it hits the metal it stops at the metal, but then anything that is above the metal, the laser just sort of just disintegrates it.
I wonder if we can tell the difference between skin.
There's
got to be something. Cause
I see him wearing gloves.
That would be an insurance nightmare.
I see him wearing some serious gloves. And also what's I think is different with this as opposed to dry ice is dry ice, I think you can pretty much throw it on anything from rubber pieces to plastic pieces. This guy was really focused on just shooting the laser onto metal. And also with dry ice, everything gets cold, but it doesn't really disturb the metal. Whereas he says, because you're using laser, you can't stop and because it will heat up. It's laser, so it will heat up.
That is going to be the cleanest lick car in the world.
So it can deform metal if you sit there on one spot. But you can change the frequency and you can change the intensity to clean things as thin as aluminum. But if you watch this video, of course, of those of you that just do laser cleaning on YouTube, and you'll come up with a number of videos. And this happens to be a guy restoring, I don't know why, but he's restoring a Le Car. If you don't know what a Le Car is, it's a French car that really shouldn't be restored.
It has 3 bolt wheels. That says all of it. All right there, 3 bolt
but
wheels.
Isn't that cool, though? You've never seen that, right?
No, I've never seen
Yeah.
it.
So I'm wondering if detail shops...
it's got to be a country outside the United States, because I just see the attorneys all over this.
But I think it is. I think I spoke to the guys at Polish to Perfection that does dry ice. They are either getting one of those machines or they have one of those machines, and hopefully we can. I won't say play, but hopefully we can come see how it's done, because it seems pretty darn amazing. Again, the focus of this laser cleaning machine is just on metal.
How long would it be before somebody tries to take off a tattoo with that?
Oh gosh, I think they already do that. I think tattoos are removed via
laser, they are.
Right, so
yeah. I don't think with that tool though.
Not with that tool. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, let's. Damon, unfortunately, is not here. He's taking a jump at his holiday vacation, so hopefully he's traveling safe out there. But 2 videos that dropped recently, the 83. I thought we talked about this one, the Turbo Cabriolet.
I think he talked about. Didn't he talk about?
I think he did. But if you haven't watched it, it's very cool. It's a pre-production Turbo Look Cabriolet, 1983, that was spec'd by Peter Schutz, president and CEO of Porsche back in the 80s.
You know what? He came out with I think when I did my runner show, since we were doing it on a Monday, I was doing it before he came out with the 50th anniversary.
Okay.
911 is the one that he just came out with. I believe that's the new one.
Yep, that is correct.
Where he drives the 50th anniversary 911, which was 2013 991. Beautiful cars. It's the one that came in 2 color choices. Mm-hmm. I think we debuted it at the Traverse City Parade. I remember they brought it out to us, and it was 1,963 models, and they were sold out almost immediately. And they still hold a lot of their value for the premium they were asking, because it came with so many things standard, including that interior that was just out of this world. That
and if I'm not mistaken, that car was the first car to reintroduce the Fuchs look into a modern wheel.
So the first car to do that was the not the classic,
the
Club
green,
Coupe, the Club
green
Coupe,
Club
the Brewster
Coupe.
Worldwide Club Coupe.
Right. But there was like 12 of those.
Yeah, and then it was.
And this was the first mainstream one.
The 50th anniversary. Then we asked Porsche to let us use that wheel again in the Club Coupe.
Yeah, and that car also has my favorite pattern on the interior, which is...
Is it Pasha?
No,
not Pasha. It's
Pepita.
Pepita.
Yeah, Pepita Houndstooth.
Pasha, that's checkered flag pattern.
Yeah, and it's got like a mocha, almost brownish gray interior. Beautiful car. And you don't see many of them. When you do see them, you definitely know that they're special rides. Speaking of special, we are doing some promos on a all comprehensive. This should have been premiered at movie theaters. It's going to be that crazy level of detail, and that's Nathan Murr's 993 video. Anything and everything you want to learn.
Yes, it is. Even if you're not looking to buy 993 and you want to learn, you want to do well in your next tech quiz for Porsche Tech Quiz. This is the video to watch because there's stuff I learned. He gets right into the nitty gritty of even with the finishing on the rocker panels and the front spoiler, how different in some years and what material they used. It's very, very comprehensive. It's 2 hours long. It's not a short 15-minute video, and you can watch it. I think we got it broken into chapters, depending which one you what year you want to look at, or what models. And then we're gonna have Nathan on December 5th, I believe it is, the Wednesday, on Tech Tactics Live, and he is going to be answering not just questions about this video, but any of his videos he's done, buyer guide videos. So
cool.
If you have questions about the other cars he's done, like the 3.2, the SC, get him ready because he will be able to answer it for you.
One of the greatest things about Nathan is you can ask him pretty much about anything Porsche related, and he's just got a vast amount of knowledge. So we're going to do that for Tech Tactics Live, but we're going to continue sort of that theme at Treffen at Sea with the seminars that we're having on the cruise, where we're going to have an open mic seminar, so to speak, with him, where the people on the cruise can ask him about this video or just Porsche general questions. So it's going to be pretty cool.
The difference there is the audience is probably going to be intoxicated. Most of them.
They are not.
Getting
Our
their 16 daily
they
drinks.
They have the option to drink, but most of our members don't. They're pretty.
Well, why do you go on a cruise then?
Not
Not like they drive anywhere.
Yeah, but you don't need to drink. What was it, 16? Or the capacity?
16.
Drink the capacity. All right, let's see. Let's talk a little bit in the news. You've got a lot, actually, here for this week. So let's start off with the 963.
So Porsche is cutting back production, not because they want to, but because of supply issues. So they're a little bit behind their plan. So to get the big takeaway from this is that the other manufacturers have not yet sold customer car versions of their cars. Porsche did it all in this first year of their car, which is pretty admirable. They have now customer teams racing, and of course, people are in line to buy this car to race it as a customer, and they can't get all the parts to be able to build these. So they're going to slow down production and just try to fill the orders they have, so they're not taking any more orders for next year, and so they can supply it. Because there's a lot of teams that only have one car, but we want to have two cars, a two-car team, and they're going to try to fill that out for 2024. I guess it's a good thing. This is what their overall plan was, to mimic the 956, 962, which is a big customer-based race car. They're going to try to replicate now with the 963. It'll be interesting to see when the other teams come out with their customer cars.
It's pretty crazy to think sort of the mode in which Porsche is in, that they have customer demand such as this. They're still growing fiercely, and I think that leads into our next discussion, which is Porsche Production in Zuffenhausen. And if you haven't been to Zuffenhausen, Stuttgart in a while, you will notice that there's just constant construction around the factory, and
which is a little footprint.
It is tiny.
In the big scheme of things, it's a very tiny footprint. This is the original factory right after the war, when they went from Gmünd, Austria, to the converted sawmill back to Stuttgart to build their cars. So it's they try to squeeze everything in this little footprint, and they're starting to convert now the main factory. If you've ever been there, you know which one I'm talking about, the one where they build the sports cars, into also building the upcoming Boxster Cayman EV platform alongside the gas engines. That's going
to be crazy. And you can see the influence of the production line from the what I would say almost brand new Taycan line, which is state of the art. Right now, you can go, and tour these factories, and you can see sort of the old school way that cars are made with the ICE versions.
I saw where it said automated guided vehicle, and I groaned because I'm like, ugh. Something I don't want is a self-driving Porsche, but it's not a self-driving Porsche. It's the actual assembly. You've seen the old the pictures that a lot of factories have, which is basically a conveyor belt,
right, or
something that hangs from above, and it's a chain driven, and it goes to each station. These are going to sit on individual platforms, and they're like robots.
Yep.
And they're going to go to the stations that need them, and they already use a ton of these smaller robots to carry parts.
Yep.
And if you've ever toured a factory, you've seen them. They're not on chains or on any kind of treadmill.
Smart.
They're all driven by themselves. And if you stand in front of it, it'll start beeping loud to tell you to get out of the way because it knows to what station, to who they're going to drop these parts off. So now the whole car is going to...
and so with these AGVs, production efficiency obviously increases because you don't have something that has to get pulled off the line. These little AGVs, they're not connected. They run in a line, but if they need to pull that car off to the side for, let's say, a part or a defect or something like that, it just simply slides to one side. Yep. Production continues to go, and the computer systems, they keep track of where that one that's left off, and then they can, when they're ready, insert it back into the line and keep on moving. It's amazing.
I applaud them that they're going to continue making the ICE version of the Boxster Cayman before they go full electric. But they've managed to also start converting over to factory to when they eventually do go full electric. It'll be all set up.
Yep.
To be able to do that.
Absolutely. Next up from Porsche, we have a story of 12 candidates. From as young as their late teens to early 20s, the Porsche Motorsports Junior Shootout.
Yeah, and I guess we're rooting for Riley Dickinson from the U.S., who won the North American Carrera Cup Series this year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to interview him at the PCA tent in Rennsport. I was really looking forward to that, but I think the Hurley Haywood Patrick Dempsey interview bumped him. Yeah, Riley was just a force to be reckoned with this year in the Carrera Cup. He was just total dominant. But now he's going to go up against the Riley Dickinsons of the other countries.
Right.
And to see who becomes the Porsche Jr. and moves up and eventually becomes a factory full-fledged driver, which obviously is not easy to do.
Oh, talking about young drivers, and you didn't put this on your list, but what's that movie that's supposed to come out shortly where they take like a bunch of young gamers, and I think it's more aligned with Nissan.
Story about the
Nissan,
one
right?
Nissan, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that
I think it's out already.
Is that out already? I haven't seen it yet, or I haven't seen anything about it
I think
yet.
it's supposed to be the true story of how Nissan did something similar, but all online with the gamers and
apply them into the
game. Yeah, because if you follow motorsports, you remember a couple of years ago he drove the Nissan at Le Mans. I think it was Le Mans and Gran Turismo. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah,
you should know that.
I know. I should.
It's along the Fast and Furious.
It is. So, Robert, do you know, is that movie out yet?
I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Or did it go straight to Netflix?
No, because I would have watched it on Netflix.
Yeah.
It is out, Robert.
Oh, okay.
Says, so.
I haven't heard much about it. I guess it's not very good. All right, another American in racing that you highlighted here, The Road to Le Mans. And I've seen this on my YouTube feed.
Yes. If you've never seen any of these series they have, I watch them all on YouTube. Michael Fassbender, of course, is a well-known actor, especially if you watch the X-Men. And what I liked about this was, this guy, I don't know if I could be able to do this with the camera on me. Racing's tough enough. You really got to get your head in the game, but to have a camera following you around, all your highs and your many lows, and he had quite a few lows, and to his credit, I mean, it's very genuine, the frustration he has when he crashes, when he doesn't do well, and I haven't watched this new one here. It's my Thanksgiving weekend plan is to be able to sit down and just enjoy watching this, but
Some of those scenes, he looks like a beaten man.
Oh,
man.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be frustrating because he's racing with these pro drivers from Porsche, just like we talked about how hard it is to become a factory driver, and he feels like he's letting him down because he's the weak link in this team. But the factory drivers are there really to bring him up, and they're telling him, "Hey, you're doing great. Don't let it get to your head." And because this isn't his full-time job, he's an actor, and to be able to pull both off, and this is quite admirable. So it's I'm looking forward to see how he does. It was kind of like we enjoyed watching Patrick Dempsey when he did his Le Mans documentary, which was something similar where they're not racing for overall, they're racing for class wins in a 911, but they're racing against other professionals and other cars, and it's if you haven't watched it, take some time out and take a peek.
Can I download it? Is it? It's on YouTube. So
I guess you can download and watch it when you go to Europe.
Okay, cool. Speaking of 911s and on the track, you sent a link earlier today for the Monti 911 992, and it's almost like it's got airplane arrow on it.
It looks like it's LMP arrow. If you've seen the LMP cars, it has the that
center fin.
What's it called? The I guess vertical fin on it.
So that car, what Monti is famous for is not necessarily boosting up engines and making them 100 more horsepower to get them around the Nürburgring faster. What they're known for is really suspension and aero. And I think that's still the case with this car, right? Like the engine is fairly stock?
Yeah. I mean, they were at the Nürburgring, right?
Yeah.
So that's their
backyard.
And
Testing center. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I always said when we interviewed them, and hopefully that video comes out soon at Rennsport. It's they seem to do stuff that Porsche wishes they could do. Even though Porsche owns, I think 51% of them, the majority of them, but they get to do it under the Monti name, and maybe this is what the RS they wanted to do, and they couldn't get approval, but Monti can do it.
So what are the things that you can see on the car? I think I saw aero wheels. You saw because it is disguised a bit, but you can't not see that center arrow on the back window or
they call it a central stabilizer.
Central stabilizer. So that's probably for straight line stability. I'm
yes,
assuming. Yeah. And then it's got a monster wing well above the roof line. That's probably active, and big side plates and
custom engine cover. Everything's custom. Brake pads, even brake lines have been upgraded.
So is this just a test car, or is this car something that will be available at some point?
Oh, it's got to be something they're going to make available to
race teams or to an individual?
No, to the customers.
Really?
Yeah.
You think, but not a street car?
Oh, why not?
A street car with a fin like that?
Well, look, we have street cars with wings like that.
I guess that's true, but I've never seen a street car with a center.
Well, remember, so if you look at the RS in practical terms, all that downforce is at top speed.
Yeah.
That amazing, almost 2,000 pounds of downforce. That's at top speed. So why not have a stabilizer? Guarantee we see these all over the place in
really
next year.
Wow, that's crazy. And this is still with a normally aspirated power plant.
I just like to be in their meetings when the first guy says, "I got an idea."
And their wheels, and there's so much on that package. That's crazy. And you can see they also have, we saw, what was it with the concept Porsche, I forgot the name, Mission X, where they had the little cheetah on the side of it. Was it Mission X? Not Mission X.
Little cheetah?
I think it was. Yeah, there's a little cheetah on the side. If you look on the fender of this car, there's like a little dog or something on the front fender on the driver's side. There you go. There's a little doggy with a helmet.
Oh, good eyes.
They do kind of cool stuff like that.
Yeah. So you haven't seen this? I would Google it. The Monti RS. It's the MR. Of course, they use the MR designation when it's been blessed by Monti Racing.
Monti Racing. That's pretty cool. I don't know that have you driven a Monti car or a car with
No.
Monti? The one we saw recently was what, at Sports Car Together Fest, when they had the blue one kind of leading the parades and
So
stuff.
that was the one they were going to bring into the U.S. market. They were telling us, which they did.
Yeah.
And at Rensport, we brought one into the tent when we did the interview of Monti Racing. It belonged to a customer. So no, I've never even ridden one or sat in one. I would love to, yes, given the opportunity to drive one.
All right. So let's get into some PCA events. We've got the Treffen Wine Country. Hopefully you can open that up there. Man, that's going to be, our Treffen events are typically sellout, and I hate to talk too much about it because there's going to be a lot of people that will unfortunately be disappointed because it's so hard to get into. But all I can say is make sure that you stay on PCA.org or follow the Treffen site or watch eBreak News for when registration opens.
I think it announces here when registration opens. I think it's in January, maybe.
January 10th. So put that on your calendar. So it's, Treffen is our, 4+ star event. Typically it's couples. This will be in the wine country, Napa, Sonoma Valley in Northern California. It's everything that you think it's going to be, beautiful sights, beautiful food tied in with wine, gorgeous roads. If this doesn't sell out in minutes, I would be surprised. So again, mark your calendars for that. I'm
going to make a challenge to see what sells out quicker. Excuse me, Treffen Wine Country in the spring, or the Treffen that was just announced in the fall, which is in the Northeast.
In the Northeast,
yes.
I'm gonna say the Northeast one, just because I think we haven't been there in a while, and there's just a lot of demand, and also there's a lot of PCA members, and the Northeast in the fall is probably one of the most beautiful experiences you can have.
So my region, Chesapeake, is already they're all going crazy about this when this announcement was made, and it's an 8-hour drive. So it's kind of Treffen within the Treffen because it'll take probably 2 days to get up there. It's Sunday, much like the wine country one we're talking about. This is Sunday through Thursday, so a little bit change where normally it was a
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
This is the beginning of the week, so like you said, it should be less traffic.
It's an interesting change for days. I think it will work to its advantage because, one, those days are probably less of a demand tourist-wise, and you can get on maybe some of the tours and get into venues without your typical weekend crowd. I think it will work in its favor. So it'd be interesting. It's first go with that sort of schedule. A lot of people that do go happen to be retired too, so I think they're less affected by what day the event is held. So should be interesting. I went to the Treffen in Vermont. That was also a fall Treffen, and it also sold out quickly because, like I said, having a driving tour, having an event in the Northeast in the fall, right around when colors turn, the weather is, just about perfect around that time.
So
of
the
year.
dates for that is September 29th through October 3rd, Sunday through Thursday. It's the headquarters is going to be Mount Washington. That's actually the headquarters of the Omni Mount Washington Resort in New Hampshire. Like I said, my region is going crazy. So if you figure my region, which is 8 hours away, is going crazy, that means everyone from 8 hours closer radius is going to be going crazy for it too. So,
and there are some big regions in that radius,
and we can't take everyone that wants to come.
Yes, and please don't be mad. There are limited spaces due to the number of rooms in the hotels, and it's not that we keep them small because we want to keep people out. We keep them small so that the quality of the event is on par with what you're expecting. So if you want to go to any of these, again, mark your calendars, make sure you're on your computer. At the time of opening, I suggest you look at all the options that are that you need to make during registration. Look at those options and kind of decide them before registration opens. So that way, when registration opens, you hop on, you choose the things that you want, and you finish the registration and hop off quickly to lock in your place. So that's a little PCA insider tip there.
So let's see what sells out quicker, West Coast or East Coast. That's my challenge. See if the West Coast can show the East Coast how things sell.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will both sell out just because they're incredible locations and venues. But I'm gonna put my money on the East Coast. But they'll both sell out. So let's see. We're also getting very close to Treffin at Sea. I mentioned it earlier. December 9th, we will be going to the Western Caribbean. I think by the time you listen to this, we may be down to the last few rooms. If you're interested, come along. We have 800 PCA members on the cruise. That's gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of great seminars, and hope to see you there. So with that, anything else you got for our listeners, Manny?
Nope. I guess when you get back, you get to tell us about the International Presidents Meeting.
Yeah. So they haven't had an International Presidents Meeting for several years now, and what they do is they invite the clubs around the world, the executive councils and members of all those clubs to come together to sort of share their toolbox and how to keep a club running. There's some successes, some failures, and just the camaraderie to bring them all together and be with the club coordination group from PAG, and should be a good time. I will definitely take lots of photos and make some notes, and hopefully if there's some interesting machinery that we might be exposed to, I'll try to take some videos and social media and share back with you all. So I do want to say also, again, if you're interested in a PCA Insider decal, just let us know. Put a comment on...
Well, actually... Email us.
Oh, yeah, just email us. Yeah.
Simply letting us know YouTube isn't going to get you a decal because we don't know where you are or who you are.
Yeah. So if you did leave a comment earlier, what I did was I replied with just send an email to us at podcast@pca.org. Again, that email is podcast@pca.org, and we'll send you a inside decal as well as an outside decal of the new PCA Insider decal. All right. With that, thanks for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member and own a Porsche, what are you waiting for? Be sure to have your VIN handy and sign up. If you are looking for your Porsche, we have the test drive program. Just go to pca.org and we'll open some resources for you for a small fee and help you find that perfect Porsche for your driveway. We also have the PCA Sim Racing program. You haven't checked that out, go to PCASimRacing.org. Some real cool races and lifelike races going on, and we can teach you how to, now that it's getting cold here in Maryland and temperatures are dropping, not so much racing or DEs going on, you can kill some time over the holidays by trying out sim racing. Remember to follow our podcast Instagram page, behind the scenes photos and videos, Porsche Club Insider, all one word. You can send us a message there at podcast@pca.org, and of course, we always love seeing your comments on YouTube. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe. So with that, until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you down the road.